So where do you start? What starts the process? How do you get going? That is a question many people are asking, but so many people are stuck that they never get moving. They never begin a journey. You know the adage that says a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So, you have to begin somewhere. You have to make a start. I sit sometimes and I think to myself, what am I going to talk about? And I think, you know what? I just need to make a start on life. It's many things like that. I don't know about you, but, I suffer from something called analysis paralysis. I have to be an expert at things that I want to attempt. So I will study and I will listen to things and I will go onto YouTube and I will read and I will ask questions just so that I can, become an expert before I start. But, expertise doesn't come from just getting some knowledge. Expertise comes from doing. So many times you just have to start. I love what one quote says, all glory comes from daring to begin. And, you don't win a race by thinking about it. You don't win a race by sitting at the starting line studying how many steps it's going to take, how many centimeters is it from start to finish, who's at the start, who's going to help me finish, how high is the finish line, how wide is the lanes. That all is, yes, you can know all of that, but if you don't get in the starting block and begin, you'll never ever get to the place where you finish. And so, where do you start? You start where you are right now. It doesn't take much. It takes, starting. It's like a relationship, is that where do you start with a relationship? By just beginning to communicate, by beginning to trust the person, by being faithful. I love what somebody said, if love was going to make the if marriages were going to survive because of love, then, most marriages will survive. But they don't, because it's more than just having this ookie gookie, I love you stuff. It takes work, it takes action, it takes starting where you are, and you have to start. So, I want to encourage you tonight is that make a start. If you have an idea, start somewhere. Take the first step. Meet the first person. Create the first product. Do something, but begin somewhere. Do what you can with what you have where you are today. And that is like a good philosophy always, is that start with where you are. You can always perfect things. You can always become the expert in time. But it's the doers that actually get the experience to apply their knowledge, that get the wisdom that makes them experts. Is because they take an idea, they take what they know and begin to apply it and then build from there. So, in your marriage, start on the relationship. Don't wait for the other person to make it happen for you. You begin doing what's necessary in a relationship. If you don't know what to do, learn. Start somewhere. Learn what principles apply in your marriage relationship. This is, now I'm sort of on another tangent, but what I find is so many people, they just expect things to fall into place. They don't want to work at anything. And, the best thing to do is to learn the principles and apply them. If you want to have a successful business, you got to learn the principles. If you want to be a great leader, you got to learn the principles. And then you have to start where you are, apply what you can, and grow through it. And that is always where you begin. Begin with the little things, and then you grow from there. I've done workshops on strategy for life and on I've done leadership academies, but it didn't start there. It started one-on-one, talking to people, helping people, encouraging people, inspiring people, learning because they're sharing with me their situation and I can give input, and then going and finding out more and investing into their life. So little by little, you begin to give more and more. You've got to start somewhere. If you're waiting until everything, you've got a big organization with a big brand name, when I'm Nike, I will start. Well, you'll never be there if you don't start. Nike started with an idea. You have to start, and somebody took the idea and began to work at the idea. What are you working on? Where are you starting right now? What is your first steps that you're taking right now? What are you learning right now? If you're not learning, you haven't started anything. Is learn a new language. Study something, but begin something that you can apply. Grow and start somewhere. Even if you don't have money for anything, my parents didn't have money to send me to studying and to go to university, and I never had that privilege, so I didn't know what to do. But you know what I discovered? Books are for free. So I started reading. I read loads of books. And I still do. I listen to stuff. I read things. I listen to stacks of YouTube webinars and teachings and so constantly that I can grow myself. I might not have the ability right now to go study at an institution, but I can learn and apply, learn and apply, learn and apply. What are you working on? What are you starting? What can you start? What one thing can you start? That's another thing, is we read a book and we think we've got to do 12 things. Just one thing. What one thing can you start today to make your life better? What's one thing that you can do? Positive, optimistic step that you can begin to take you on a journey of 1,000 miles. What's the one thing you can start today that begins to make you grow, helps you grow, makes you move forward, makes you develop, makes you starting to get out of where you are? What's one thing that you can do? There's always something you can do. Start with that. Start with one action, and you'll be surprised that one action becomes more action, grows, and begins to become a fulfilling potential in your life.